It was a gray, cool morning in Palo Alto, the kind of morning where the fog still lingers like it hasn't made up its mind. The tech campuses were quiet, the streets sleepy. But inside one particular glass-and-concrete building, the gears of the digital age were already grinding. This was early Facebook. Not the Facebook dorm room version anymore. We're talking post-hype, pre-meta. The kind of place where interns were poached from MIT like avocado from toast, and every floor buzzed with the confidence of a company that knew it was changing the world in real time. And walking toward the office, not in a limo, not in a Tesla, but on foot, with a hoodie pulled over his head and a laptop bag slung low, was Mark Zuckerberg. Yes, that Mark Zuckerberg. The billionaire. The brain. The guy who wrote the code that reshaped the internet and accidentally rewired human attention spans for good. But today, he wasn't arriving for a board meeting. He wasn't flanked by handlers or photographers. He was just a guy. A guy who happened to forget his badge. It wasn't the first time. But this time, it would be the most memorable. Now, let's pause for context. Because Facebook, even back then, didn't mess around with security. After a recent close call involving a former employee sneaking past reception to grab his charger, protocols had gotten tight. They hired a private security firm to manage front desk access, and that team did not care how many TED Talks you'd given or how many servers your code was running on. No badge. No entry. As Mark approached the front doors, he noticed the new security post. A fold-out desk. A walkie-talkie. A man with a clipboard, aviator sunglasses, and a jawline that looked like it had its own workout plan. The guy raised a hand like a crossing guard. Sorry, sir. Badge. Mark smiled politely, already fishing in his backpack. Then his face froze. No badge. Not in the laptop pouch. Not in the hoodie pocket. Not buried under the charger cord and protein bar. He looked up, sheepishly. Yeah, I think I left it at home. The guard nodded slowly, professionally. And you are? I'm Mark. Mark Zuckerberg. Silence. The kind of silence where you can almost hear the confusion loading behind the eyes of the person in front of you. The guard tilted his head. Mark Zuckerberg. Like the Facebook guy. Mark nodded, smiling, assuming recognition would follow. It didn't. Okay, Mark. Gonna need to see some ID. Now, here's the thing. Mark was carrying ID, but it wasn't the kind this security guard was looking for. A Facebook founder doesn't usually carry business cards. And he wasn't about to pull up Wikipedia and scroll down to his own face. So he pulled out his phone and began unlocking it. Maybe he could message someone on Slack. Maybe he'd pull up a company directory. But the guard was already on the walkie-talkie. Dispatch, I've got a male individual claiming to be Mark Zuckerberg at the front desk, no badge, requesting entry. Please advise. Mark's eyebrows lifted slightly. Claiming to be. A few employees passed by, giving the classic startup nod of familiarity. One even paused and whispered, "Hey, you good?" as if Mark had gotten lost at the mall. Another started typing furiously on his phone, already composing a tweet. Zuck got stopped at the front door. Security didn't recognize him. Tech gods, they're just like us. Back at the desk, the guard stood firm. You're gonna have to wait right here until I get confirmation. Now let's be real. Mark could have pulled rank. He could have said, "Google me." He could have demanded someone from the exec team come down. But he didn't. He stood there. Quiet. Calm. Not embarrassed. Not even annoyed. Just amused. Like someone watching an improv skit where he's the punchline, and also the audience. A few minutes passed. Word traveled upstairs. An engineer sprinted down, almost out of breath. Hey, he's good. That's literally Mark. He runs the whole company. The guard looked at him, then at Mark, then down at the clipboard. "Copy that." He stepped aside. "Apologies, sir. Just doing my job." Mark smiled again. "No problem. I respect the commitment." But the story doesn't end with him walking in. Oh no. This is Silicon Valley. Everything becomes legend. By lunch, the story had spread to every Slack channel in the building. By 2 p.m., someone had photoshopped a fake VIP Mega CEO access badge with Mark's head superimposed on a nightclub bouncer. By 4 p.m., someone had put up a sign in the front lobby. Reminder, even Zuck needs a badge. And the best part? Mark left it there. He liked it. Because here's the thing about true power. It doesn't need to yell. It doesn't throw tantrums. It doesn't kick down doors screaming, "Do you know who I am?" True power shrugs, smiles, and waits like everybody else. This little moment, this almost miss at the front door, became one of the most shared internal stories at Facebook. It got referenced in onboarding. It was used in talks about humility. And years later, it would still surface as a sort of campfire tale of the early Facebook days. A reminder that, in the land of startups, no one is above the system, not even the guy who built it. And that's what makes the moment iconic. Not just because Mark got stopped, but because when he did, he waited. Because in a world obsessed with flexing, sometimes the quietest moment is the loudest flex of all.